Hello guys, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Charles Randy Ampah, and in today's video I'll be demonstrating how I prepare myself for a gig. This demonstration is going to take place on the mixer board. So basically it's about how I prepare the mixer board before sending it to the venue. So without wasting my time, I would like to introduce to you the mixer board I'll be using for this demonstration. This is the A&H Qu-32. It has a 32 input channel, 4 mono outs, 3 stereo output. It also has 4 DCA, 4 FX engines. It also has 4 mute groups and also 2 stereo matrix. Since you know what the video is about and you know what mixer board I'll be using, I think we are ready to start now. So first and foremost, what I request is the input list. The input list, someone might ask, what is that? It's just like a document, okay? It has all the inputs that will be used for the very gig listed in them. Okay, so what I do next is that I match the corresponding numbers on the list to what I have on the mixer board. Okay, so on the input list, which is being shown on your screen at the moment, we have 1 to be the kick. So what I do is that I name channel 1 on the mixer board as the kick. Sorry. So what I do is to tap on the pencil icon and then I name it. So 1 is kick, then just as you can see on the list, 2 is a snare. Okay, so I just do that. Then 3 being the hi-hat. I'm not going to waste a lot of time on this, so I'll fast forward it whilst I continue the rest. So that's tone 1. 6. Kick 1, kick 2, snare, 3 hi-hats, 4 tone 1, 5 with tone 2. 3. Okay, then floor tone. 7 is floor tone, so 8 and 9 will be overhead, left and right. Okay, 10 with bass. 11 and 12 with the keyboard, so piano. Piano left. Sorry, then I have piano. Piano right. Okay, so 13 and 14 will be the aux keyboard. So I'll just name it aux left. Then aux right. 13, 14, so 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19 with BVs. Okay, so starting from 15, it will be BV1, then BV2, BV3, BV4, then BV5. Alright, as you can see on the screen. Then 20 will be my leading vocalist, so that will be LDV. So I'm done with the naming of the channels on the mixer board. When I do this, it helps me a lot during the gig because I know what I'm pushing and I know what has been assigned to this, so I don't make mistakes. So this is some of the things I do before I send the mixer board to the venue. Okay, all right, so the next thing I'll be doing is that I'll be assigning DCA groupings. I'll explain what DCA is, so don't worry. It means digital control amplified. So the DCA, let's say I'm done with my mixing, and whilst I'm mixing I realize that my drums are too loud or my keyboards are too loud. Instead of me to push, let's say I have everything like this and I feel it's still too loud, so I have to lower it. Instead of visiting the various channels, faders, and pushing them down, I can do that with just a single fader. I can increase or decrease the volume of the drums using a single fader. So it controls the channels, okay? Either it amplifies it or it decreases the volume that has been sent to the mix. So to do that on the Qu-32, you hit on the SEL on the mixer board, then you hit the routing. Over here, the DCA group assigned, you can see over here that it is out. Everything is out. Nothing has been assigned to any of the DCA groups, 1, 2, or 3, or 4, or whatever is on the mixer board. You can see that nothing has been assigned to it. So to assign the kick to the DCA, what I'll be doing is that I'm going to assign the drums to DCA 1, keyboards to DCA 2, backing vocalist to DCA 3, And for DCA4, I'll think about what I'll use it for. But for now, that's what I'm going to do. So to do that, you hit on select. And you can see that if I should hit on the select on, let's say, if I should hit select on channel 1, you could see over there that it changes to the kick. 2 is a snare. Now I'm going to assign the drums to DCA1, keyboards to DCA2. To do that, I'll hit on select, and then I tap on 1. You see the color has changed to green. Then the same thing to the snare, hi-hat, tom 1, tom 2, tom 3, floor tom, overhead left, and overhead right. So I'm done. So if I'm to control the drums, I just have to use one fader and I'm good to go. So the same thing to the keyboards. The keyboard. So piano left to 2, piano right to 2. Then aux keyboard left to 2, aux keyboard right to 2. So I'm done with the keyboards as well. So now I move to the BVs. DCA3 will be the BVs. So 15, BV1, BV2, BV3, BV4, BV5. Okay, guys. So that's what you are seeing now. For the LDV, that's the leading vocalist. I'm going to leave it for now. So guys, a recap of what we've been doing so far. I requested for an input list. An input list was given. What I did next was to assign the various inputs in the licks to the mixer board. Anytime I press SEL on the mixer board of the individual channels, it changes to a particular name on the screen. Okay. From 1 C kick, 2 snare, 3 hi-hat. And the next thing was to assign it to a DCA. And I told that the DCA allows me to control a group of channels using just a particular fader. So I grouped my drums. I was able to assign my drums to DCA1. So if I should hit the routing and I go to DCA group assigns, you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 has been assigned to 1. So that will enable me to control my drums using just one fader. Okay, that's the DCA fader 1. So if I should hit on the 11, I didn't touch the bass. I didn't assign it to any DCA. But if I should tap the piano left, right, aux keyboard 1 and 2, or left, right, I assigned that to DCA2. So you can see that on your screen as well. Then my BVs were also assigned to 3. My BVs were also assigned to 3. So that's what I did. The next thing I'm going to do is the group send. Okay, so I'll further like to process my drums and the BVs. Yes, the DCA won't allow me to do that because it's not an audio path. Okay, like I explained to you guys earlier. So now I'm going to send my drums to group 1 and 2, then these my BVs to 3 and 4. So just like I did when I was assigning the DCA, I'm just going to do the same thing. I hit on select, and you can see that has changed from whatever channel it was to channel 1. That's the kick. So then I tap on the group 1 and 2. The color has changed again to green. That means it has been activated. So the same thing to snare, tom 1, tom 2, tom 3, floor tom. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. For the hi-hat, overhead left and right, I'm not going to send it to the group 1 and 2 of the drums. Then I move to the BVs. So the BVs 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19, they are 5. Okay, they are 5 and 19. So I'm going to assign that to group 3 and 4 so that I can further process it. Okay, so I'll hit on 15, then I tap it. That's how we do it on the Qu-32. So if you are wondering how I got here, all I did was to tap whatever I want to send to the groupings, or let's say group 5 has already been assigned to group 3 and 4, but you hit on SEL on the mixer board of group channel 19, that's the BV5, then you hit on the routing. You will see that then you just tap the on button and that's it. Yeah. So guys, we've been able to cover a lot now. So What we'll be doing next is that I'll be going to the next layer of my mixer board, so that I set the DCA fader to 0 and the mix outs also to 0. That's where I start from. I start from 0. If I have to lower, I lower. If I have to open it up, I open it up. So without wasting my time, we'll just hit the layers. The Qu-32, before I do that, the Qu-32 has 2 layers. Okay, you can't have everything on the first layer, so it has 2 layers. So the second one is what I'm using. That's the various channels. The second one is the various channels, and the first one is the mix out. So the light has changed to the top layer, so we can see the mix 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, I explained to you guys later, or when I was introducing the board I was using, I said mix 1, 2, 3, 4 mono, and the 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stereo. That's the mix out. So to do that, I'll just set it to 0. I'll set everything to 0. Okay. Then my DCA also to 0. And my effects return also to 0. Then the send to, let's say, -20. Yes, so this is what I do. Then the matrix send also to 0. Okay, so that's what I do when I'm preparing the board for a gig. Okay, before I send it to the venue, this is how I prepare the mixer board before I send it there. So I'm just going to hit on the layer 2, so that it sends me back to the individual channels. Okay, so that's it. The next thing I'm going to do is to set the soft keys. Okay, this soft keys you can see over here. I'm going to assign them to the DCA and also some channels and also the FX, so that it allows me to just mute them here instead of going to mute them using the layers and that. So what I have to do next is go to setup, then control. Yeah, you go to control, then soft keys. Okay, all right. So soft key 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 has its own assignment. Okay, it has been assigned to mute groups, but I don't want it that way. I'll assign it to the DCA. So 1 is to DCA 1, soft 2, DCA 2, soft 3, DCA 3. Then I'll assign this to 10, channel 10. So channel mute to channel 10. The reason being that I didn't assign the bass to anything, to DCA or grouping. So I'll assign it to soft 4, so that I can just mute it by pressing on it. So I'll hit on apply, and if I should hit on that, you could see the lights blinking. That means it is working. For 6, I'll send it to, I'll assign it to, I'll go to channel mute, then FX1, 7 to FX2, then 3 to FX3, 9 to FX4, then 5 to tap tempo left for the delay. FX3 is for delay. Then 10 for tap tempo right for delay. Then apply. So it has been muted. So for now, what we are seeing on the board, the drums muted, keys muted, BVs muted, then I have the bass also muted, and effect 1, 2, 3, and 4 also muted. Then this for delay, tap delay for FX3. So that's what I would do to the mixer board, or that's how I prepare the mixer board for a gig. Okay, so guys, that's it. That's what I do, and it doesn't mean that's how it's supposed to be. It doesn't necessarily mean that's how it's supposed to be, because a lot of people will have their own setup before sending. But this is how I would do mine. I'm going to have mine done. So this is how I would do mine before I send it to the venue. So I believe you guys have learned a lot from this video, and I can't wait to hear from you guys from the comment section. All right, so that's it.